On tonight's episode, we talk about what is a woman.
The pop culture news of the week. So this week we're gonna do something different. We're gonna talk about old movies. Not old movies that are old, but old movies that we saw this week. We saw 3 movies, very interesting, very different movies. A documentary called "What Is a Woman," by Matt Walsh. Technically, he didn't direct, but he's the idealizer. Is that right?
Sure.
Yeah. He's the creator of the whole thing. We also talk about Flashpoint in preparation. Flashpoint Paradox, the DC animation, in preparation for the Flash next week. That is heavily inspired by Flashpoint Paradox. Also, we talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi, the what's his name?
Kai Peterson.
Kai Peterson cut. So this guy cut the 6-hour miniseries, Disney Plus miniseries. He cut into a movie, a 2 hours and a half movie, and we saw it, and we're gonna talk about that.
Yep.
Let's start with the documentary. What is a Woman?
So this is made by Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire, and is obviously a response to just the increasingly popular mainstream idea of gender as being something that's fluid, something as a spectrum, and yeah, kind of a response to that. Matt Walsh is known for being a bit, very conservative. This is coming from the Daily Wire, so definitely coming from a very conservative point of view. So be mindful of that. But I would say overall, given how controversial and polarizing and contentious these questions can be, I would say the tone is overall genuinely inquisitive and pretty respectful.
Yeah, it's the premise of the document is a documentary. The premise of the documentary is the question: what is a woman? And it comes from a sincere asker who asks the questions. Is a interlocutor. What's the word for
interrogator? I think.
Geez, that's like interrogatory. A more common way to say
Interviewer.
no,
Questioner.
the questioner.
Seeker of truth.
Yeah.
There's a few ways you could put it.
Yeah. Anyways, so it comes from a sincere question. He has kids, and this world is, throughout the decades, concepts that are a basis of our society are always being persecuted and destroyed, and gender is the current one. So he comes to ask, thinking of kids, and my kids, I have girls and boys, will they change? So what is a woman? What's gonna happen? What's happening? So it comes from a question, and using this question as a basis of his documentary, he stays on a very classic way of making documentary. Is that he doesn't try to be artistic or innovative. Is a very old style, classic type of documentary that we saw many times on 60 Minutes, some of the origins of documentary on TV. The great documentaries by famous documentarians. So he asks the question, and he goes asking the questions to specialists. So he goes to the people that claim to be specialists on the subject and asks the questions.
For example, professors of gender studies, surgeons, pediatricians, other medical professionals who provide gender-affirming healthcare, trans people who've had different experiences with transitioning physically, different activists, things like that. It's a pretty broad. Psychologists as well. Some people who are, and also people kind of across the spectrum of support, I guess, or across the spectrum of beliefs about gender, whether like gender is a binary, gender is a spectrum, whatever, kind of across the board.
Yeah, of course, he also interviewed normal people out in the streets, which in the documentary is very relative because when you have a camera pointing a person
Yeah.
and you ask a person a question that let's say 5 years ago, there would be no question, right? That doesn't matter if there's a camera there, but because there's a camera there in the age of social media, information is coming in a way. So the answers out in the streets are corrupted by the social phenomenon, the social media, and the propagation of
Sure.
this way of life. But
I would
anyways,
say also, like, whenever you're watching a documentary, remember the power of editing as well. Remember they captured so much more content than would ever make it on. So regardless of what you're watching, how you feel about it, just remember there were editors and editing decisions and footage left on the cutting room floor, metaphorically. So just some stuff to bear in mind.
yeah, but as a documentary myself, I made a documentary. It is we do photograph, we do shoot a lot, and we have to cut a lot because nobody has an entire 12 hours, 16 hours to watch a documentary. Nobody would do that.
I would watch your 16-hour documentary. That's how much I love you.
But in this one, what else? So is the question, and he talks to the so-called specialists. He talks to normal people. He travels to Africa, different cultures, because that's one thing about American culture. We tend to export everywhere good things and bad things, and so and some of the bad things that here we are considered that's ridiculous, that's stupid. Out there in some places more traditional, more religious, it still don't have the effect. But the propagation is so big that might unfortunately change. So he asks the questions. He goes. He travels the world, a la Indiana Jones. He uses
he travels by map.
Animation.
That's what they say on the Muppets.
Yeah. What else? Questions. He questions. He at some point he decides to he decides to be more active. It's like, I'm not gonna ask, I'm gonna do something about it. Which to be honest, even before that, he was doing it because he was asking questions. And there's something they say about idiots. You let them speak. They will destroy themselves.
He does very little talking.
Yeah.
In this.
You just let them speak, and by their mouths they will die. Like fish.
They'll condemn themselves.
Did they say that in English? Like,
no, I don't remember fish getting involved.
Die by the mouth like a fish.
Yeah.
Because apparently a fish, if you feed a fish
Right.
non-stop,
They won't stop eating.
They will eat. So die by the mouth like a fish. Anyways, so he does this very, very, very smart, and he's very controlled in the movie because he is very conservative and he's very passionate about his beliefs, and some people might say he's even aggressive, but because he's very intense about everything he says. In this one, he asked the question peacefully and very neutrally,
yeah,
and let the speaker make themselves look like an idiot, or otherwise mostly the first. Anyways, what else?
So,
between going asking and going, he goes out in the streets. He goes talk to the specialist. He goes to Africa. Anything else?
I mean, yeah, that's basically it. So the whole point of asking this question, what is a woman? They did that, and yeah. So people when you look at gender as a spectrum, but then you also have increasingly like different people identifying as a woman, men, biological men, people assigned to male at birth, then identifying as women. So then he asks, okay, so what is a woman? But then, if you can't answer, anyway, I thought it was a very interesting way to approach the subject. And one thing that was very discouraging to me is how, like, you almost can't even ask this, because this issue, the issue of gender politics, is so intensely divisive and emotionally charged. We can't ask these questions or really do this research or figure out like what kind of healthcare someone might need, because there are already like predetermined conclusions, and it's like social political suicide to pursue this line of questioning, pursue this research beyond the script. Is that making sense at all?
Sure.
Sure.
He does talk to politicians, but us politicians are slippery as they are. This guy like, I have to go, and then his aides, he has to go. We're done here. So they don't take a side unless it's scripted and prepared, because they. Anyways, so he talks to politicians. He does a little bit of history and goes back to the so-called scientists that starts the whole movement, and we learn how they were terrible people. And but one interesting thing you were talking from what you were talking about that I thought was the main question is what is a woman? And some of the people in the movie they answer by is someone that identifies as a woman. But what's a woman?
So
it's a loop of
this
no
circular
concept,
logic
of no, it's nothing wrapped by nothing, meaning nothing. It's very interesting on how to attack and destroy concepts that we have for thousands of years. They can come up with something not even a little bit consistent. Is if anything idiotic. But
this documentary could have well been called "What Is a Man?" because you've got people going either way. One thing I don't think he did this on purpose, or maybe he did, but I thought it was a wonderful expose on like how fundamentally different the system of thinking is for people on different sides of this issue. Matt Walsh versus like the gender studies professor, and like just seeing how different. Not just like we're come to different conclusions, but like even starting off so like such deeply different foundations and assumptions at the base of like their arguments and their reasoning.
But
it's interesting to think
he's
about.
in the role of mankind. Mankind believes what he believes for hundreds, thousands of years. Now there's a minority that is propagating these ideas, so it's causing a confusion on his head, and many people out there. And some people choose to ignore, do nothing, let them do. There's a phrase in the beginning of the movie that I thought was very poignant. It was about you do whatever you want with your life, but he uses an example. There was it's like that's how genocide starts, because the question was something about what was it? It's like if I don't like this person, I don't like this person. Anyways, I can't remember. I'll have to rewatch that bit to talk about it. But it's like some concepts are not to be destroyed. I'll let them do what they want. It's like no, because then people will do all sorts of atrocities, and they always did. Even with a basis of or concept that is accepted by a society, even as a minimum. But anyways, the other thing that I thought was he talks about pharma and the dangers of the whole process. Is very eye-opening for people, for everybody. Everybody should see the movie to know a little bit more about the whole thing. And the whole thing about what is a woman, I think is the fact that he used woman is because it destroys so many concepts towards women, even and he goes to the Women's March. Even the whole the feminist movement that's basically being destroyed by so many modern concepts, like a man being, according to their concepts, a man could become a woman, that basically dismantle the movement.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if I don't know if I'd use words as strong as destroy or dismantle, but it definitely calls into question some things. Probably the most obvious and like the most hot button topics would be bathrooms and women's sports and girl sports, and how like these were spaces created for women where women could be safe, be successful, have opportunities that
Things
they
that-
couldn't have. And
Things that the movement fought for so long
Yeah.
for women to conquer, now they're
and
being
now how does that change when as you want to give room for because obviously we don't want to disrespect or hurt somebody who is just trying to figure out their life and their place in the world. Like, I want to be supportive and loving and all of that, but then it does come into conflict with things like girls sports, and where you have someone who went through puberty as a biological male but now identifies as a girl. But then, like, what is the point of women's sports if someone who is maybe biologically more male is now competing against women? Like, these are valid questions, and there aren't comfortable answers, but it's also really difficult to really just ask them and have a conversation about it, because it gets so heated and so controversial, and we leap to conclusions and all the rest. And then same thing with like bathrooms and locker rooms, and there are some like real world consequences on both sides of this for the people who are like transitioning, and for like the people anyway.
Yeah,
And it
the
just
whole
shows
thing-
like
and the whole thing is very sudden, is very radical, because for some 5-10 years ago it wouldn't be the case. I remember reports of this woman. She was born a woman. She was a natural, a real woman. That she got. She was an Olympian, judo Olympian, and they found traces of male hormone on her, because apparently that was enhancing her. So she was caught, and she was like suspended. She lost a medal and stuff like that, just like Lance Armstrong did with different drugs. So enhancing, but in the case with female hormones, like back in the day, there was like no questions. But the movement is radical and powerful in a way that now they're competing and they're winning. But anyways, what else about the movie?
I would just say maybe suspend. I know many people who are going to be turned off of this because of who it comes from and who makes it, but maybe suspend some of that judgment, watch it, and and think about it. I think it's really valuable to ask some questions. I'm coming at this as a person of faith, as person. It's really valuable to take a second and question some of your own beliefs and your own assumptions. Even if you might not come to the same conclusions that Matt Walsh did, it's a valuable experience. And so I would recommend watching it.
Coming from who came, he takes it really easy,
Given with like other stuff that he said and stuff that comes with the Daily Wire, like this is soft.
Yeah, he was like, he took it easy for everybody to see, and and everybody is seeing it. The movie is a huge success. It was available on Twitter. It might still be, I'm not sure, but it was made available on Twitter on the anniversary of 1 year of the movie, and on the weekend, this past weekend only, made 170 million, which makes it the biggest documentary in the history of mankind. For you to have an idea, what's that movie? What's Al Gore one? Oscar-winning documentary, An Inconvenient Truth, made 50 million. So documentaries don't make much.
No.
So this one made 170 million. This almost beat The Little Mermaid And across across the Spiderverse, you know, it's huge. So we recommend it's a good documentary, and it's a topic that's out there. You know, everybody needs to learn, to ask questions, the hard questions, because there's some people, and that's why I got the thing about the genocide in the beginning of the movie, when they just let's just them be what they want, just they do whatever they want, you know. No, we have to, you know, we live in a society, like George Costanza say, and some stuff needs to be argued and needs to be questioned, and concerning children that need to be protected, and places going to laws. But anyways, I'm not gonna go to that.
Okay.
But What is a Woman
Mm-hmm.
is available on the Daily Wire Plus. If you're a subscriber,
Mm-hmm.
it might still be available on Twitter because it was there for free. And I guess if you give for free once, I mean, they use in the past, they give a movie for free for a weekend, and then it's like if you want to watch again, it's on Twitter. But I'm pretty sure if it's not on Twitter, it's on Rumble. Someone told me it's on Rumble too. So
that
you
tracks.
should go check. It's a good movie.
Okay. Next up, well, what do you want to talk about next?
Next, let's stay on the realm of independence, right?
Okay.
Let's talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's a big property. It's a Disney property. But this kid named Kai Peterson decided that, you know, we saw the movie, the show. The show had a lot of good stuff. It had some bad stuff, and it was in a lot of controversy because one of the cast says stuff that you shouldn't say. Also, given importance to a character that I should give importance. This guy decided, like, enough. I'm gonna re-edit this in a 2.5 hours movie, which Disney could and should do back when they've been trying to do this for years.
Yeah.
And they play beyond safe releasing on their streaming platform on Disney Plus, instead of releasing a movie like, you know, like the character deserves, like the story deserves.
Yeah.
So they made a 6-hour show. It's like, no, movie. So he re-edited the whole thing in 2.5 hours, and it's beautifully done. It's really good. Everything, I watched it, and you know, when as an editor, as storytellers, when we watch a movie, I was like, what would I do different? You know, it's like, oh, take this, because overall it's good. It's a great character with a great story. Take this, and he did most of the things I would do. He took things. Okay, this out.
That is the
this
highest
out,
praise.
This out. And it was so good. It was like, oh man, Disney shouldn't sue or bug this guy. They should hire him.
They should hire him. Yeah. I will say there were a couple things that I missed, and I understand why it had to. I understand why he did it. But if Disney had like come into this with a 2.5 hour goal, they could have worked these in better. Anyway, I did miss some of the development of Leia's character. We miss a couple of scenes that really show us like who she is and some of the things that made her very endearing and very impressive, and really developed and expanded the Princess Leia character. So I did miss that, but I understand why he couldn't include those like scenes in this edit. We also miss out on Beru and Lars like kicking butt, and that was very fun.
Yeah.
So I do miss that, but again, like, I don't think because of the way the scenes were shot for the series,
But it was
I
like,
don't know that he could have put that in a way that made sense with his edit.
and the problem with Beru and Owen was like he basically cut that the Sith character,
Exactly.
the third sister, which was a secondary story, and it became a second ending, because the ending, the apex is Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader, and then comes the epilogue. So on the show, it has two endings, and the secondary, tertiary ending, there's less important than the main ending, comes after. It's like, but it's like, hey, this is done. It's like the bad guys, the good guys. It follows episode 4. We don't need to know about this character. This character isn't important. So to put Ryu and Owen there, it was, yeah.
Exactly. So I'm saying, like, if that mindset had been included from the beginning, they could have shot things and written things in such a way that we could get more of Leia's dialogue. We could get more of, some of Beru and Lars being, like, so cool. Or, sorry, Owen. Beru and Owen being so cool like that. But...
He has Lars, right?
Owen Lars.
Yeah, Owen Lars.
Yeah. One of my favorite things, though, that I did not really think about when I watched the series, but this kid did an amazing job, was the way he rescored it. He took the soundtrack from the movies and
footage.
And footage, too, and put that in. And, like, the music and the way he did it was so good. It felt like John Williams had sat, like, oh my gosh, this kid, just like the music alone and the way he attached the music to the storyline and used the score that was written for something else, but used that musical language that John Williams wrote for the Star Wars movies and then used that to tell the story of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh man, it was amazing. Chills. I had chills.
Yeah.
That is what really blew me away. Like, great editing, film editing overall, but using that musical language, like, just, I don't have words. It was fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's when they released the extended edition of Lord of the Rings, and a true fan of Tolkien, Peter Jackson, and Lord of the Rings, I was like, no, we don't watch the theater version anymore. Yeah. There's no theater version anymore. Same thing with the Zack Snyder Justice League.
That's right.
There's
only
other
the Snyder cut.
There's only the standard edition, the director's cut, ultimate cut, whatever. This one, unbelievably, is the opposite. Instead of 6 hours to 2 hours and a half, there's no other way to watch it because it works so much better. It's like everything is, yeah, it's so good.
Every moment in the series where there was a moment, like, there were a couple of moments like bad editing, several moments of poor writing, that just kind of jolted us out of the story. It was all gone. And so you got to be completely immersed in it and stay there with that suspended disbelief and just, it really well done.
Yeah. The Kai Peterson version of Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series, is probably not available anywhere. I got my hands on it.
Yeah.
But I think Disney had conversations with him. He took it down. But if you want to follow him, he's on Instagram, and he always has some really cool and artistic. You should check him out. You should, I don't know, talk to him, follow him. And should the opportunity arise, take advantage of it. If you get your hands on it, it's, gosh, it's so good. I'm glad I got it, and I'm gonna treasure that because there's no other way to watch it. Yeah. And yeah, so Obi-Wan Kenobi, re-edit by Kai Peterson. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not available, but follow him on Instagram or Twitter, whatever he is. All right, Flashpoint Paradox. This is one of my favorite animations from DC. It's so good, and it's a great thing to watch before you see The Flash. It's like amazing cast. There's like from Paramount, Nathan Fillion, Kevin Conroy, Jordan, what's his name? Michael B. Jordan. There's so many people. I'm not gonna tell. Yeah. I'm not gonna say everything. Amazingly done. Great job that DC always does in animation. In this one, it changes the DC universe because of the Flash changes the past, creates a dark reality, a dark future, and then he fixes again. But we're gonna learn later throughout the other DC movies that it creates another dark reality, but it's long term. It happens many years, ending up in Justice League, Doom's Apocalypse War. Is that called? Apocalypse War? I don't remember. I guess Dark Side War. I can't remember because the book is named one thing and the movie is a different thing. But this show, an adaptation of the book, Flashpoint. And of course, being on the adaptations, they made changes. And then will come The Flash, where they're going to make more changes. It feels like, by watching the trailers, it feels like the Flash movie by Andy Muschietti, I think that's his name. They're going to deal more with places in the multiverse than timelines. Because it's a complete different Batman, as in Flashpoint Paradox. But there's not Thomas Wayne. It's Bruce Wayne from a different Earth. So we're going to see how they're going to deal with that.
Honestly, I think that's better for storytelling, especially if you're going to take this pretty far. Timelines and time travel and the rules get really, really messy.
Oh, because multiverse doesn't.
Well, multiverse is a lot more straightforward. Like, this is a different universe. And it's not like you could go back in time and, like, some things change and some things don't. Like whatever, that's a different universe. So it's different. I feel like it's a lot more simple. Okay. Yeah.
It's again, it's a power that even in the trailer for the movie, he talks to Ben Affleck, Bruce Wayne. It's like, I can go back and change things. Somehow he went to another universe. Yeah. So now he has different powers. See. Anyways, so Flashpoint Paradox still holds up. It's still really good. Terrific story. And
it's a great what if. It's a great thought experiment about.
No, it's not what if.
No, I know it's not technically what if, but it kind of asks the question, what if Barry's mom didn't die? What if Bruce died and Thomas and Martha survived?
Okay.
So even though, it's not like a DC what if.
Yeah, because he did do that. That happened.
Yeah.
He had to undo it.
But I'd say, for us as the readers, this is a really cool way to explore the question of, what if things were different? What if the circumstances that led up to these superheroes being superheroes didn't happen? How would things change? Would they be who they are? Anyway, it's just lots of great thought experiments and philosophy and psychology and cool storytelling and it's just good stuff.
Yeah.
Is that on? Oh, sorry.
It's probably on HBO Max. I mean, I guess now it's Max.
Yeah.
You can also buy the DVDs, Blu-rays, streaming. It's an old movie, but it's really good.
Yep. All right. Anything else there?
Yeah, that's what we saw concerning movies in documentary. Mm-hmm. We also saw Waco, Aftermath, the sequel for the series Waco, with Michael Shannon and I forgot the name of the guy. Taylor Kish, Melissa Benoist, and other people. This one takes place right after the consequences, the aftermath of Waco, but also uses a lot of flashbacks from before Waco, when the
the early days of
when Koresh was not the cult leader. He was
kind of his rise to this was very interesting. I learned a lot. This is one of those things that we watch. I was constantly looking stuff up on my phone, try to see what was actually happened versus what was dramatized. A lot of it actually happened. I think they did a pretty good job.
Yeah. The consequences, including the Oklahoma bombing.
Yep.
And it's very, very interesting, very intense. It's available on Showtime. The entire show, if you want to check.
I highly recommend it. This is one of those things in our recent past that we maybe don't remember or talk about a whole lot, but has a pretty big impact on where we are today as the United States of America and on our current climate. So definitely very relevant.
We started watching Fubar with Arnold Schwarzenegger on Netflix. It's fun.
It's so fun. This is a very tongue-in-cheek action show. I feel like if you love the action genre, this kind of plays with it, makes fun of it, but in a very affectionate way. And it's just a really fun, funny series.
Yeah. It's on top of the charts. Netflix is second only to Mother, that is doing really well.
Yeah.
And you should check it. Fubar, check Mother too. Let's move on to the news because you have a lot of news in very little time.
Oh yeah, oh boy.
Okay.
Okay.
Spider-Man 4 apparently is in development and is on pause because the writers strike.
But a live-action Miles Morales Spider-Man movie is in development.
About Miles Morales, Across the Spiderverse snared 120 million, kicking the Little Mermaid out of the top. And
and she fell pretty hard, down 65%. So
65%, yeah.
excuse me.
Yeah, and the movie is a success. They already have a new one coming, a sequel coming.
Yeah.
That was announced. And yeah.
And if you didn't get the message last week, it's fantastic. It's so good.
It's really good.
So there's lots more Spider-Man content coming. Other box office stuff. Tracking. So the predictions for Indiana Jones 5, they're predicting a $60 million box office opening.
It's sad. It's terrible. It's less than the Kingdom of Crystal Skull, the previous Indiana Jones. So the damage created by that movie, it doesn't seem like it's done, and the new one is already suffering for rumors for the previous movie, for the directions they might take. So we'll see.
Yeah. We will see. Up here, I know, like this, I'm gonna be disappointed, but in my heart, I just love Indy, and I can't say no.
Yeah, I mean,
they got me.
I mean, not everybody can do what James Bond did. What they did to James Bond, they ended. They killed him, and there was nobody trying to pretend or I'm the new one. It's like no, it's over. They're gonna make more, but who knows how it's gonna be. But anyways.
Yeah. All right. The Flash starting next week. It's only gonna have one premiere because why?
It has a secret ending.
Ooh.
It's kept secret, and I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be. It would only like make me happy and surprise me if they, at the end, all this time travel and universe travel change and reestablish this Snyderverse. But James Gunn said, "Hey, I was kidding about Superman Legacy."
Oh, that'd be great.
But it's
Henry Cavill's back.
Yeah. And we might see Christopher Reeve or something like that. But
that would be.
Anyways, it's secret, and we'll see next week and tell you. Or I mean, not gonna tell you, but we're gonna tell you our feelings about it.
I suspect there will be many. Okay, Oppenheimer is another highly anticipated film this year. The IMAX reel is huge.
Okay, quick one about The Flash. The Flash, this already talks about, they said they already wrote the sequel. They said the sequel can only happen with Ezra Miller. So there's like all sorts of crazy things about it. But anyways.
Okay. Okay, so the IMAX reel, because Nolan does stuff on film. The IMAX reel is 11 miles long and weighs 600 pounds. Yeah,
the 70 millimeter IMAX, 35 millimeters, 75 millimeter.
Yeah.
Is gonna be screened in 20 theaters in the United States and several others in around the world. If you want to see, if you're close to one, go to IMAX.com.
Yep. It's also his first R-rated movie in 20 years.
Yes.
So something he did very deliberately.
It was really necessary.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he would try to not do R.
All right, let's skim through some news real quick. Harrison Butker.
Okay, this guy, I just thought it was cool. It was classy and cool. He went to the White House where Biden has all these radical agendas concerning abortion, even though he calls himself a Catholic. This guy is a truly Catholic. He plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. So the team that won the Super Bowl finally went to the White House as tradition to visit the president.
That's right.
And he went to visit, and he went wearing a tie that says, oh gosh, I can't remember the phrase in Latin, but in translated to English, basically says protect the weak, and it is a motto,
like a pro-life
motto. And he went there, and he was there like right behind Biden, like,
wow,
form of protest that if anything now people at the White House gonna check people's ties because they don't want to be, it's not humiliating, but they probably gonna
Don't want to
take
give a
that.
platform to the other side.
They're gonna take that as an humiliation. They just never let that happen again. But again, they're incompetent. That might happen anyways.
Yeah.
Another quick one from the world of sports: PGA and live golf are merging on the most hypocritical emerging sports ever, showing that money buys principles. Money destroy even the ones that are so-called, or maybe they were not. It's just hypocrisy. You know, not long ago, PGA were criticizing live golf. That is owned by the Saudi, from the Saudi Arabia, and they were criticizing American players that are playing for that league. You supporting people that did 9/11. You should see what the families. So they were like really hard hitting the players are, and now they getting their money. They taking their money from the same league, and they're not even apologizing to the players they offended. They now just, oh, this is gonna be great for the sport. This is gonna be awesome. Just a hypocritical movie. Move,
Yeah.
not movie. Anyways.
Okay, Target. It's a mess. Although Target's come under fire for a lot of their Pride merchandise, as well as having like swimsuits that are marketed for reasons, and anyway, so that's the whole thing.
And the talking about media, this I forgot to put his name. This rapper made a song
that's right.
top of the chart, showing that there's still a majority that's against all this woke agenda, all these things that's out there. So his song, it's not even a great song. It's just like Target, boycott Target, and stuff like that. But it made top of the charts. Yeah.
So there we go. A school district in Utah, as part of this whole back and forth about banning books in elementary school libraries, or in public school libraries, a district in Utah ended up banning the Bible in elementary and middle schools due to vulgarity or violence. A parent submitted the Bible for inspection, I guess, saying, hey, I don't think this should be in the libraries, and they reviewed it, and according to the criteria, it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
so that's
it's
the whole
sad,
thing.
it's terrible, idiotic. It happened here in this district. But people use the laws to get their way, to get their even most corrupt ideas out, and they take the Bible down. Anyways.
Yeah, the Bible is still in high school libraries, but based on their standards for like what is like age appropriate violence and other content, the Bible didn't make the cut for elementary or middle school. Okay, Apple glasses, Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're like, it's revolutionary. I don't know. I'm over Apple.
It's $3.5 grand. It's a lot of money, and there's all sorts of jokes online. It's a AR. It's not VR. It's the AR glasses.
Yep.
And there's all sorts of joke online about on the commercial. There's this girl in the glasses and nothing behind her because she couldn't afford furniture. There's also people say it's like, should I buy a car or should I?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Clearly, we are not the target audience because I'm not getting it.
I mean, it's even it's a terrible idea. It's very, it invest in endorses and help some of the worst problems we have. The individualistic thing, even the minimum sort of family, a type of family, a couple, they can't appreciate that together. It's made for one, and if a couple wants to get, that's like $7 grand. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's Apple. It's it's the new Apple Pen. Just
yeah. All right. We'll come back to that one. Pat Robertson, who's been pretty influential in the world of, especially like Christian television and the current conservative movement, died at the age of 93.
Yeah, he was the founder of the CBN, the
Christian Broadcast
Network.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, may he rest in peace and sentiments to the family.
Yep. Bob's Burgers and Anchorman actor Jay Johnston was arrested.
Yeah.
Because of January 6th.
He was kicked out of the shows a while ago because of that. Again, stupid. But you know who he was in Bob's Burger, right?
No, I don't remember.
Jimmy Pasto. That's why you don't see him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Okay, the LA Times is laying off 10% of their newsroom.
You know, Biden inflation, economic crisis.
Print is dead, all that stuff.
The unions hate it, but the company's like, hey, it's like we'd rather pay 90% than not pay. So they kick 10 to keep. They kick 10 to keep 90. It's a game of numbers, and yeah.
But it sucks if you're one of the 10.
It does.
So sorry, guys. Truly. Spotify is also cutting down on their podcast division, but this is a much smaller percentage. It's only 2% of their total workforce.
Yeah. Disney eliminates 75 jobs, including Lightyear's acts, all the big names, people that worked on Toy Story 2.
Wow.
Nobody is safe at Disney.
Okay, BuzzFeed has to get their stock price back up or they might get booted from the NASDAQ.
Yeah, they have to get above $1. That tells you...
yeah, that's rough.
I think it's a sinking ship.
It is. CNN is also struggling. Their ad revenue was down 40%.
Yeah.
Which, given that's basically their revenue, that's a bummer.
And Chris Licht, the president of CNN, was just out of the company. One of the contributing factors was the fact that he brought Trump to CNN, as people said, so that's a sin. You can bring this man here. He's the devil. And no. So they forced him out, and he's out.
Yeah. Oh, well. Okay. Some upcoming... Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, after 20 years acting on stage and on movies and television, he announced he's going to retire to take care of his family.
Yep. Which is great, but I hope he unretires later because he's such a good actor. He's so good at this. Okay, upcoming projects. We saw a trailer for Special Ops Lioness. This is coming in July to Paramount Plus.
Yeah, it's executive produced by Nicole Kidman, with Morgan Freeman, Zoe Saldana, and there's a Brazilian Leila Oliveira.
Yeah.
Gravando.
Okay. Okay. Trailers and premiere date for Star Wars Ahsoka. It's coming in August.
Yeah.
Okay, what's going on with Captain America?
Captain America announced a new name. It used to be called Brave New World.
No, it was New World Order.
New World Order. And they changed to a Brave New World.
Yep. Anthony Hopkins, Odin, the Allfather, called his MCU role pointless acting.
Yeah, acting in front of a green screen.
Okay.
A lot of actors don't like, and he said it was like, that's just a joke. Anyways.
That's rough. Okay, what's going on with Knights of the Old Republic?
There's rumors about the version for PlayStation 5 Xbox that would not come, and this week the KOTOR 2 DLC for Nintendo Switch that was announced. This is original game, but the version for Switch was a DLC was announced and it was canceled.
Okay, also in video games, Street Fighter 6 is apparently doing really well for PC.
Yeah, it's doing really well. It's doing great, and it's a long history, and movies are coming.
We saw a trailer for the Afterparty Season 2. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, it looks as fun and funny as the first one. Some of the cast is back, and new faces. There's Asian family with, what's his name?
Ken Jeong.
Ken Jeong. So, that's a recipe for laughs.
And this time it's set around a wedding. So, I very much look forward to this. Okay, Perry Mason is canceled at HBO. Sorry.
Yeah, after 2 seasons, the Matt Rife. Anyways.
Okay.
That guy.
It's all done. Okay, Superman Legacy casting. What's going on there?
There's some big hot news. Nicholas Hoult, Rachel Brosnan, Phoebe Dynevor advanced to in-person screen tests. So, and David Corenswet, Emma McKay, Tom Brittany are also testing the roles of Clark Kent and Lois Lane. So it's getting close to a name. I hope Felix Nicholas Hoult gets. I don't hear any other name, so I hope they find an agreement and pay him properly and get him. He's a good actor.
I would love it. He's very good.
Yeah.
Okay, The Chosen. This is a crowd-funded series about Jesus Christ. It's been enormously popular in certain circles. It's done really, really well. And again, it's like totally crowd-funded. It's actually coming to the CW.
Yeah, it's kind of scary because when you talk about CW show, it's always like a hot young man and young woman sweating. You know, it's always that time.
Yeah.
So I hope they
A lot of
don't
teenage hormones.
I hope they don't do that to Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
No, they will not do because the show is ready. They're just gonna broadcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. All right, Taylor Swift's Eras Tour has been making waves across the world.
Gosh.
It's a 3-hour runtime. I've only heard good things about the experience, but some Swifties, it took a lot to get tickets. By the time they managed to get there, they don't want to risk missing anything. So apparently some Swifties are wearing diapers to make it through the concert, just in case.
Yeah.
And I feel like
it's I don't know. It's I mean, we watch Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
It's probably the biggest, but then extended edition of Lord of the Rings, The Avengers, Endgame, Infinity War.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. I don't know.
Yeah. But also there are other ways. There are other ways.
There are other ways?
I mean, to like avoid like okay, so I was 9 months pregnant when we went to see Endgame. And I just like took it on the easy on the hydration before we hydrated in the morning. Didn't drink a whole lot for the rest of the day.
Oh yeah.
Enjoyed the movie and then drank a bunch after.
Isn't that things you can eat to stop you from peeing?
I'm not saying do anything like terribly unhealthy, but just be smart about what you eat and drink.
Some things, the anti-diuretics,
Sure,
like things that will like keep you dry and.
Yeah.
I don't know. Diapers is I don't know, but this.
It feels like it goes to a dark place, but at the same time, with like Ticketmaster crashing everything they went through to get their tickets and to make it, and how long it's been since her last tour,
and this world is.
I don't blame them being a little desperate.
Is so messed up that I guess diapers are not even the worst. And you know, it being like astronauts. You know? Yeah. Shoving a diaper on their ass. Astronauts.
Oh my gosh. Well, on that delightful note, that's all we got this week.
Yes. And next week we come back with The Flash. With the beloved Ezra Miller. And of course, there's 2 great Batmans there. There's a brand new Supergirl. And many other things that, you know, a secret. Safe. We can talk about it.
But we'll find out.
We won't talk about it, but we'll see. It's being praised. People are liking it. You should go see it too. And we can talk about it next week. Next episode of Retina Weekly. May the force be with you.
Live, work, and prosper.
Bye.
Bye.